Hey, Myles here at Tactical Hyve. It's Thursday, so we are going to do our live fire session that works on the skills we talked about on Monday, and that is going to be our support hand grip on our pistols. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Before we get to today's video, we want to thank our friends at Laser Ammo for bringing you today's live fire session. If you're not familiar with Laser Ammo, they have a wide selection of training tools that can help you improve your skill set much faster, shortcut the learning curve, and it'll make training much more enjoyable. They have recoil-enabled pistols that shoot out a laser, give you that recoil impulse. They have laser cartridges you can put in your own firearm, laser targets, smokeless ranges, and a whole lot more. Make sure to check them out in the description below. Trust me, there's a training tool that they have that you can use and get better with. Now let's get to the content. All right, I have a target down range, and the setup doesn't really matter because remember, our learning is going to happen right here in our hands. We are going to do pretty much what we did with our firing hand, but this time with our support hand. But we're not going to isolate just with our support hand. We're going to add this on top of our firing hand grip. I'm going to load and make ready, and I'll talk this through. So you already should know what you're doing with your firing hand. We are going to get nice and high with our support hand. Depending on the technique you want, you can vary it. Okay, I'm going to do this with the typical thumbs forward. And now, once I have my position here, I need to focus on friction. So I want to make a good contact with the pistol grip and then clamp down with my left and right pressure with my support hand. Remember, there's lots of different ways. This is a common way, okay? From here, I'm going to present out, and what I want to do is I'm going to take single shots. Notice how my hands are touching here. You don't see the black of the grip here. Okay, you don't see this, okay? I'm going to take single shots first, and this is what I'm looking out for. I'm going to take one shot, finger off the trigger, and I want you to pay attention. Two things. Did your support hand start, or does your support hand start to move down? Okay, are you losing that leverage? And are you losing contact with your firing hand? I want you to take a few shots and focus on that first. Finger off the trigger, everything looks good, everything's fine here. Now I'm going to make a mistake, okay? So here, notice there's a lot more space here, and you'll see there's space also right over here. So my support hand moved forward and down. Now I'm losing consistency with my grip, and now that second shot wouldn't have good pistol grip because now I don't have maximum leverage and maximum friction. So focusing on leverage still, I want it nice and high, so I'm going to take a single shot. Now if everything seems good, now you want to take two shots, because usually when we take two or three more shots and any type of rapid fire shooting, that is when we see a true test of the grip. Because when we take two or three shots or rapid fire shots, most people, particularly beginners, their grip is going to come apart. And this is going to be a test, so to speak, or a check to see if you have really good leverage and friction over the gun. So the first few reps, you were focusing on leverage. Now what you want to do is focus on friction and really clamp down. The test for this is to see if the gun moves in your hand, just like we did with the firing hand. Here, we're not going to hold it separately, okay? If you're with an instructor, they might have you grip this nice and tight, and they might watch you and pull the trigger by themselves and see if the gun flips in your hand. But what you can do here to see if you have a good grip pressure with your support hand is to, one, ask a friend to look at your support hand and the gun and see how the gun behaves, or two, use a video camera. What you're looking for is, once again, if this gun moves while your support hand is basically stationary. That means they're not moving as one unit, okay? If the gun moves, your support hand should move. If the gun moves here, my firing hand should move. All together, when the gun moves, both hands should move together. The gun should not flip. Notice, I'm going to give you an example where the gun flips here, okay? Look at this. I have very little pressure with my support hand. Did you see how it just came up and my support hand stayed here? Notice it again. That means I have no pressure. I now need to focus down on this really good pressure and friction. Now notice how it's going to move in one unit. It does not leave, it does not come up. Now, once again, a bad grip, I'm gonna release my pressure. See how it just comes up, right up. I lose contact with it. It is moving within my hands. Once you've isolated your leverage and friction using the aforementioned exercises, now we are going to do more reps, be a little bit more dynamic, and the whole idea is to see if the grip starts to break. So by doing the first two exercises, you know what right looks like and feels like. Now you want to start doing multiple shots and maybe even multiple target engagements to see if the grip breaks. Notice I have a target over here and a target here. And I'm going to do this incorrectly first, okay? So maybe I take 2 shots first on this target. Everything looks good. Grip is good, everything's fine here, okay? Then I might do this. Notice, on purpose, I started to let up on my grip so I didn't have good friction, and now you see all this space. My support hand grip went forward and down. It was slipping, okay? So that is because the gun is also moving within my hand too. I don't have enough pressure. So what I want to do now is, if you notice that, okay, after you do the rep, you're going to stop and check. If you notice that, now you need to be a little bit more strict on yourself. So I might do this. So that I feel is good. At the rep, I was checking my grip, everything feels good, and you're going to do that. Keep on doing that. Add different layers of complexity to see if your grip begins to break. And if you notice something, then you might want to stop there and correct your grip and then move on once it's consistently correct again. What I mean by that is, maybe you're doing this correct. Now maybe you do the draw to 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. And if you begin to break because you're adding a draw, for some reason maybe you're getting caught up in the speed and you're forgetting to have good grip, then that might mean, okay, don't move on from there, isolate things, diagnose, and just work on the draw to that. And then correct everything, because you already know what right looks like, what right feels like. You're now putting it in practice. So the idea is to first isolate the skills just using one target. Then after you feel good, now you're going to do anything you really want to from the draw, multiple targets, moving and shooting, whatever. But at the end of each rep, you would stop and check your grip. If you feel everything is good, then perfect. With what we've covered in the past 2 weeks, keep in mind, this is just the surface level of grip. All right, there's a lot that we can talk about, cover, that there's a lot more details we'll dive into. We're not talking about different things as activating your 3 amigos. We're not talking about details to grip pressure, which for a lot of people might be very advanced. Most shooters may not even ever dive into that area of grip. We haven't re-emphasized having really good locked wrists to manage muzzle rise. So as you watch these videos, if you think we're missing something, or maybe because you've taken other classes, remember, we're taking baby steps on purpose. We are not covering every little detail. We will get to other details as we move forward. And in this video series, because it's over the internet, we may not even cover every single detail out there. But remember, these are different things that if you don't know what they are and never covered this stuff, never experienced it, they will help your shooting. Just make sure to implement them and realize this is not the end all be all. These are just layers that are going to progressively get you better. And there are other things out there, other techniques, other principles, other concepts that will help you improve. But we will be covering a lot more as well in this series. But for now, just focus on those principles and concepts and techniques for your firing hand and your support hand, and we'll begin to gel it even more next week. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Leave me some comments below. Have any questions, want us to cover anything. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys next week.